Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manomishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Very grateful to all the devotees for taking out their precious time and coming to attend this Bhagavad Gita class. We are continuing our discussion from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 5th, about to end this 5th chapter. This chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. This is a chapter in which Krishna is teaching Arjuna how one can work without getting attached to the results of the work, and in this way one can develop connection with the Lord. It is not required to leave the world. It is not required to renounce the world externally. There is an internal renunciation and external renunciation. Those who are in the renounced order of life, as we know, there are 4 ashrams: Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So those who are in the renounced order, for them, external renunciation and internal renunciation, they are same. Because their external dress also represents renunciation. For those who are grihasthas, the internal renunciation matters a lot. That is important, because externally one may be in so many household duties, taking care of the family, children, job, society, country, so many responsibilities. But spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, is more about developing an internal renunciation, getting detached from the world internally and becoming like a lotus leaf. Anyone remembers where this example has come in Bhagavad Gita? Lotus leaf. This chapter only it has come. It has come in the 10th verse. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padma patram ivambhasa. Become like a lotus leaf. And that is sufficient to give the same result. It is not required to externally renounce the world. Of course, it is, Vedic times were different, where people could actually renounce the world after certain age, after Vanaprastha, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. In today's age, these ashramas, they are not so clearly exhibited. but internal renunciation matters a lot. That's the beauty of bhakti yoga. The other paths, jnana, ashtanga, requires external renunciation also. Unless you give up family, you cannot practice all that. In today's age, we see people, they learn all the yoga and asanas, yogi and yogini are together, they are doing. It is not the practice. First of all, we have to renounce the world. In the next chapter, we'll describe in detail the practice of dhyana yoga. What all things are required to practice dhyana? First thing is give up family life. But process of bhakti yoga is such that anyone can do, everywhere it can be done. Na desha niyamas tatra, na kala niyamas tatha. There is no restrictions in terms of time, place, person. Anyone can practice. And in this chapter, Krishna has described in great detail how Arjun can be a warrior, at the same time be practicing this Krishna consciousness. That is very, very important. There is a beautiful verse which describes how the externals are not a barrier from practice of spiritual life, especially devotional life. Spiritual life means ज्ञान भी आ जाता है, अष्टांग भी आ जाता है, भक्ति भी आ जाता है. But devotional life, it is without any barriers. Therefore, it is called as avyavahita. Avyavahita means it cannot be obstructed by anything. Nobody can stop a person from practicing bhakti. No situation, no external situation. No, if somebody says, मेरे जीवन में ऐसा बहुत प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, मैं नहीं कर सकता भक्ति. No, it is not possible. Bhakti is avyavahita. It cannot be obstructed. Vyadhasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo vidya gajendrasya ka kubjaya kimunam rupadikam kim tatsudamno dhanam vamshasko vidurasya yadavapate ugrasya kim paurusham bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunai bhakti priyo madhava. This verse describes how various personalities, they performed bhakti in different situations. There is a description of a hunter. He was also a great devotee. Vyadha, dharma vyadha. So Mahabharata describes. What was the age of Dhruva? Somebody may say, अरे मैं तो अभी छोटा हूँ, बड़े हो जाएंगे तब करेंगे. अरे Dhruva, what was his age? 5 years of age. Prahlad, 5 years of age. Vyadasya charanam dhruvasya chavayo. What was the knowledge of Gajendra? Gajendra की story सुनाई है आपको? Gajendra Moksha. He was an elephant. What was the knowledge of elephant? Vidya Gajendrasya ka. So somebody may say, जब तक मुझे संस्कृत नहीं सिखाएंगे तब तक कैसे पढ़ेंगे भगवद गीता? Not required. Animal can also practice devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was on his travels to South India on a preaching tour, he reached Sri Rangam. How many of you have been to Sri Rangam? Okay, kuch log hain Sri Rangam. So in Sri Rangam, he met a person. Every day he would read Bhagavad Gita, but he didn't know how to read Sanskrit properly. अष्टादश अध्याय पढ़े आनंद आवेशे अशुद्ध पढ़े ना लोक करे उपहासे. He was reading टूटा फूटा संस्कृत. So people were making fun, उपहास कर रहे हैं. केह हसे केह निंदे तह नहीं माने आविष्ट होइया गीता पढ़े आनंदित मने. Somebody is laughing, somebody is criticizing. He is not at all affected by any of this. आविष्ट होइया गीता पढ़े आनंदित मने. He was happily reading. So when Mahaprabhu he saw that this person is not able to understand, still he is so happy. What is the secret? So Mahaprabhu he asks, Mahaprabhu puchila tare shun mahashay कोनो अर्थ जानी तुम्हारे त सुख होए. थोड़ा बहुत समझता हो ना बंगाली, ज्यादा थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. What happiness you are experiencing reading this? You cannot understand also. So this Brahman says, Vipra kahe मूर्ख गामी शब्दार्थ न जानी. Shuddha Shuddha Gita padi Guru Ragya mani. I don't know the meaning of all this Bhagavad Gita. But because my teacher has given me instruction, Shuddha Shuddha Gita padi Guru Ragya mani. Mahaprabhu says that's okay, but I can see that you are having tears of joy while reading Bhagavad Gita. कुछ समझेगा तब तो मजा आएगा ना, आपको तो समझ नहीं रहा है, you can't read properly. What is the meaning you are getting from this Bhagavad Gita? So he reveals the secret. He says, when I see the cover page of Bhagavad Gita, Arjunere rathe Krishna hoye rajjudhar, Oshiyache hathe totra shyamala sundar. When I see the cover page of Bhagavad Gita, I see Krishna holding the reins of Arjuna's chariot. Arjunere kohite chena hitopadesh, ei lagi hoye moro anand avesh. And he is speaking wonderful instructions to Arjun. Just seeing this picture, I am in ecstasy. So nobody can say, मुझे तो संस्कृत आता नहीं है, जब तक श्लोक नहीं समझेंगे कैसे पढ़ेंगे, कैसे भक्ति होगा. Not required. Gajendra is an elephant. There is a lady, her name comes in the Krishna's Leela, Kubja. She was a hunchbacked lady, very ugly. But she offered some chandan to Krishna and Krishna made him a beautiful lady. Beautiful, very beautiful form. Kubjaya kimunamarupa. What was the beauty of Kubja? She could please Krishna. What was the wealth of Sudama? Kim tat sudamno dhanam. Somebody may say, मैं तो गरीब हूँ, मैं कैसे भगवान की भक्ति करूँगा? अरे Krishna is not even demanding much. Take up 9th chapter, 26th verse. Krishna is very, very selective in using words. His Kali Yuga mentality. In this verse he is saying, we'll recite this. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. So in this verse, Krishna is using singular tense. Patram, pushpam, ek phal, ek pushp, ek patta, thoda sa jal. Why not patrani, pushpani? People will think, अरे बाप रे, कितना देना पड़ेगा अभी? कितना मांग रहे हैं? So Krishna is saying, एक तो दो. At least one is also sufficient. So wealth is not a criteria. Kim tat sudamno dhanam vamshasko vidurasya. What was the caste of Vidurji? He was born of a maid servant. Nobody can say only a Brahman only can become devotee. Anybody can become devotee. Srila Prabhupada, he showed by his personal example, he made devotees from a class of people who had no knowledge of Krishna consciousness, no knowledge of Vedic culture, doing all wrong things. He transformed them. Vamshasko vidurasya Yadav pate ugrasya kim paurusham. What was the strength of Ugrasen? He was the father of Kamsa. But Kamsa was so powerful, he had imprisoned Ugrasen. So it is not that, अरे जब तक मेरे में शक्ति नहीं होगी, I want to become powerful, I want to become influential, then only I can practice bhakti. Not required. So what is required to practice bhakti? Bhaktya tushyati kevalam. Only a simple heart full of devotion pleases Krishna. Nothing else. Externals can't please Krishna. You can please somebody if that person doesn't have what you have. कृष्ण के पास क्या नहीं है जो आपके पास है? ऐसा कुछ है हमारे पास जो कृष्ण के पास नहीं है? But Krishna is looking for that one thing which we have. That is our free will. When we go to Krishna, voluntarily surrender our free will and we tell Krishna, I am yours. I want to serve you. That is what is attractive to Krishna. Nothing else. So Krishna is telling, don't worry about all these things. Don't need to renounce the world. Practice bhakti wherever you are. And last time we discussed this very in great detail, the principle of welfare work. Sarva bhuta hite ratah. So now in 26th verse, today we'll be discussing how Krishna describes how a person he achieves liberation. When somebody is working in this consciousness, how he achieves liberation. Mukti milti kaise hai? We'll recite this verse. Kam krodha vimuktanam yatinam yat chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Translation please.
Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
This is a very important term, very near future. सबको लगता है कब मिलेगा ये, कितना टाइम लगेगा. So Krishna is assuring, don't worry, जल्दी ही मिलेगा, in very near future. So Krishna says, Kama, Krodha, Vimukta, those who are free from anger and all material desires. Vimukta means those who are completely free. ऐसा नहीं कि थोड़ा बहुत बचा है. Those who become completely free of Kama and Krodha, Viditatmanam, Kama, Krodha, Vimuktanam, those who are Viditatma, those who are self-realized. Acha, this is a very common word, na, self-realized. What is the meaning of this word, self-realized? We have heard this, we must have heard this hundreds of times now. Self-realized का मतलब क्या होता है? Any thoughts? Okay, when we understand our position, कौन सा position?
Our real position with respect to God.
Okay, real position with respect to God. What is that? Okay, to serve the Lord. That is the ultimate understanding of self-realization. Self-realization word can be used for various meanings. Self-realization means realizing that I am not this body, I am soul. A general understanding. But higher than that is realizing that I am supposed to serve the Lord. Jivera swarupa hoye krishnera nitya das. That is the principle of self-realization. When we understand, I am supposed to serve somebody. That is the nature of everyone in this world. Srila Prabhupada would always tell this. Every one of us, we want to serve somebody. ऐसा कोई नहीं है कि मैं तो किसी का सेवा नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Can anyone say that? Nobody can say that. Husband is serving wife, wife is serving husband, and both are serving their children. So Prabhupada would always tell this, we cannot but serve. But because our serving propensity is now directed towards things and people of the world, we get disturbed. Because they don't come up to our expectations. When we serve somebody, we expect, ये यथामाम प्रपद्यन्ते होना चाहिए ना. You should also reciprocate according to what I have done for this person. But doesn't happen always. So we get disturbed, we get upset. So therefore, when this serving propensity is directed towards the Supreme Person, that is Krishna, that is our constitutional position. Jivera Swarupa. Swarup means constitutional position. Constitution by default, what it means? Which cannot be changed. उसको बदला नहीं जा सकता है. Of course, आज का constitution तो बदलता रहता है. But constitution means it cannot be changed. So our constitutional nature is to serve God. That is self-realization. So Kama Krodha Vimuktanam, those who are free of anger and all desires, self-realized, self-disciplined, and endeavoring for perfection. Yata chetasam, this is a very important word, discipline, which nobody likes. Discipline nahi chahiye bhai. But without discipline, we cannot achieve anything in this world. बचपन से discipline में ही रह के whatever we have achieved that. So similar principle applies in spiritual life also. If we are not disciplined in our chanting, not disciplined in our reading scriptures, not disciplined in our taking prasad, anything we are doing, it should be under discipline. When we hear the word discipline, it means restriction, regulation, restriction. Srila Prabhupada writes a very wonderful line in one of the translations: regulative principles of freedom. Very, very interesting. Regulative principles of freedom. How can regulation bring freedom? Regulation means no freedom. But when we are regulated, we can achieve much more. Just like if somebody says this kite, people they fly kite. So kite is bound by the string. Kaat dete hain. So what will happen? It will fly for some time, again come down. When we are bound by the regulative principles, we can achieve our real position. The 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit affairs. One time, initiation ceremony was going on. In initiation, कुछ लोग समझ गए होंगे, दीक्षा होती है, formal. So in that, every devotee has to come in front of the spiritual master and recite these 4 regulative principles. I'll follow 4 regulative principles. I'll chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, and I'll serve in the mission of Prabhupada the best of my capacity. ऐसा करके बोलते हैं. So one person came, and when you come in front of spiritual master, it is like वो nervous हो जाते हैं एकदम. पता नहीं चलता है कभी-कभी क्या बोलना है. So ये बोलता है, ये devotee बोलता है, Maharaj, I take a vow, I'll follow 4 regulative principles: meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex life. कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया इसमें. Maharaj, no meat eating, no intoxication. So Maharaj said that no was a very important detail. So these are the regulative principles of freedom. एक दूसरा आपको बताया क्या मैंने, एक बहुत ही फनी सा इनिशिएशन. आजकल तो बहुत स्ट्रीमलाइन हो गया है. पहले जब महाराज के सामने इनिशिएशन लेते थे ना, लोग ऐसा कुछ बोलते थे, बाप रे बाप, टेंशन में. One of our brahmacharis, his mother was getting initiated. Like मतलब ऐसा 60-70 साल की रही होंगी. Typical Marathi lady. She comes and she sits in front of Maharaj and says, and one devotee was assisting, Mataji ये सांगा, ये बोला. तो वो बोलती है मराठी में, मी वचन घेतो, मी 4 नियमांचा पालन करणार, मांसाहार करणार नाही, व्यभिचार करणार नाही, और क्या है, और नशा करणार नहीं, और वो जुआ खेलना नहीं भूल गई बोलना, जुगाड़ खेलना नहीं. तो ये दूसरे डिवोटी पीछे से प्रॉम्प्ट करते हैं, माताजी सांगा जुगाड़ खेलणार नाही. तो ये माताजी बोलती है, आता ह्या वेळात जुगाड़ खेलणार का मी. ऐसा बहुत कुछ होता रहता है हमारे regulative principles of freedom. So when we are regulated by principles, then we can achieve the maximum. That is a discipline. Any field, we cannot achieve success if we are not disciplined. And in spiritual life, Prabhupada writes in one place, there should be a military discipline. हमारे एक मिलिट्री वाले बैठे हैं इधर, एयरफोर्स वाले, लोक प्रसाद प्रभु जी. ऐसा डिसिप्लिन एकदम कड़क. उठना है तो उठना ही है, करना है तो करना ही है.
वापस चालू हो गया अभी.
हाँ जी,
मॉर्निंग में वापस चालू हो गया अभी.
So yat chetasam, self-discipline and constant. Yes, sir.
तो ये ऐसा कभी हुआ कि फाइनल एग्जाम में लोग फेल हो गए सबके सामने?
Mic.
I'm asking that has it ever happened कि during this ceremony people have failed and been denied कि नहीं आपको because
फेल जैसा कुछ नहीं होता है.
It's not fail of past, but then they have gone and forgotten things, and then they
वो
have
कोई ना
denied.
कोई बोलता रहता है ना, कोई ना कोई बता देता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये वो परीक्षा नहीं है.
परीक्षा नहीं है, but if it's a
परीक्षा उन लोगों ने जीवन में दी है, इसलिए उनका दीक्षा हो रहा है अभी. So it is just like वो टेंशन रहता है ना. You are standing in front of a very very powerful personality. You know, to stand in front of Radhanath Swami Maharaj or any other senior, spiritual master, वो बहुत ही ऐसा टेंशन वाली बात होती है. तो कुछ लोग ब्लैंक हो जाते हैं. और भी एक दो ऐसा अच्छा स्टोरी है, अभी नहीं बताऊंगा फिर. So Maharaj also understands. Maharaj भी ऐसा. So that's how it is. It is a way to formally get connected to a parampara. And bhakti doesn't depend on that process itself. It is a formal connection. That is not so much important, but also it is important because we are consciously telling that I want to practice that throughout my life. That's how it is. Yat chetasam, so Krishna says, abhito, in the very near future, they'll be liberated in the Supreme. So this काम and क्रोध, it is always coupled together. Yes. एक दो बार पहले भी आया है ये. काम एषा, क्रोध एषा. कहाँ पे आई है? It is in third chapter.
Third chapter, 37.
Okay, great. मानना पड़ेगा. हमारे आइडियल यहाँ पे बैठे हैं. Age is not a barrier in memorizing shlokas. हाँ. Nobody ऐसे हम तो बूढ़े हो गए हैं, हमको कहाँ याद होगा. एक और जगह है. सेकंड चैप्टर में भी आएगा. नहीं, काम और क्रोध एक साथ है. कामात क्रोधो भी जायते. So in that sequence it comes. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगस्तेषु उपजायते. नहीं, उसमें नहीं आता है. सॉरी, उसमें नहीं आता है ये. उसके आगे आता है. नेक्स्ट इट इज लाइक 2.66 67 में आता है. Yeah. So that's how it is. This kama and krodha. Whenever there is kama, means krodha will come for sure. Why? When we have desire, and when the desires are not fulfilled, then krodha will come. That is very, very obvious. If somebody has some desires and that is not fulfilled, then the krodha will come. So there are people who are jnanis. Jnanis means they renounce the world. They have transcended this kama. They have no desire for things of the world. They are renunciants, hardcore renunciants. उनको इस संसार की किसी भी वस्तु से कुछ भी लेना देना नहीं है. But they fall down to anger. They become angry very easily. Famous example was Durvasa Muni. Completely renounced from the world, but still very easily angered. So if the lust is not purified properly, then it makes the person hard from inside. And the process of bhakti is to make the heart soft, so that we can develop loving emotions for Krishna also. One time a person came to a sadhu and said, Maharaj, I want to take sannyas. So he said, why do you think you are qualified to take sannyas? He said, my wife died just few days back, and I didn't even cry a drop of tear. So this person said, go and get remarried. If you can't cry for your wife, how will you cry for the world? That is very important. The process of spiritual life, becoming sannyasi or renounced order, is to help people, bring them close to Krishna. If we can't cry for the problems people are going through, then what is the use of this sannyas? That is a dry renunciation, So that is not recommended in spiritual life. And when people say, I am renouncing all these things, Arey Baba, what do you have to renounce? Just like if somebody is passing by a HDFC Bank and says, I renounce this bank. तो क्या बोलेंगे यार? भाई तेरा था क्या? It was not yours at all. What is ours in this world? Everything is property of the Lord. Everything is given by the Lord. So if somebody claims that this is my, that is an illusion. It is given by the Lord. Everything is coming from the property, from the Lord only. द्रव्य काल च कर्मश्च स्वभाव जीव एव च वासुदेव प्रोन्यो न चान्यो अर्थो अस्ति तत्वतः. Bhagavatam describes this. Whatever we see in this world, all the elements of creation, the time factor, the living entities, the behavioral patterns of everyone, everything is given by the Lord only. So who can say that ye mera hai? We have to renounce only one thing, main, mera. That is the only thing we have to renounce. Our ego, that this is mine. Otherwise, nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. So therefore, those who are free from anger and material desires, they very easily attain liberation. Brahma Nirvana. Of course, to transcend material desires is a huge journey. There are 4 types of people in this world. Karmis, Mayavadis, devotees, and I'll tell one more word. जो पहली बार आप लोग सुन रहे होंगे उनको बोलते हैं सहजिया. I'll tell you what is that. So karmi means those who are attached to doing material things for their own pleasure. And the Jnanis or Mayavadis, they renounce the world for what?
One with God.
To become one with God. And the devotees, they want to serve the Lord. They renounce the world, they want to serve the Lord. But there is a 4th category of people. They are called as Sahajiya. Sahaj, what is the meaning of Sahaj? Easy. They try to take the very high principles of devotion prematurely. And just like if you see somebody, some great devotee crying tears of ecstasy. बोले हम भी कर सकते हैं, उसमें क्या रोना ही है ना, हम भी रो लेंगे, उसमें क्या है. There is a whole society in that. जैसे हमारा सोरमाला का चैंटिंग का साधना रहता है, their sadhana is cry. We have to learn how to cry in front of the Lord. Artificially crying tears is not a way to achieve the perfection of God. So they take things very easily. They take things in a cheap way. उनको बोलते हैं सहजिया. They worship Krishna, but they are still attached to the things of the world. They will do all sense gratification and they'll worship Krishna also. So these are the 4 types of people. So we are not, we should not become, we are not there to become karmis, mayavadis and सहजियस. Externally दिखाएंगे कि बहुत एकदम बड़े डिवोटी हो गए हैं. In the last century, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, the principles of bhakti were lost practically. The ideal philosophy was lost. And then people in Bengal, they would carry fish in one hand and they would have bead bag in other hand. And they would say, "This ये तो जलेरा फल, ये तो जल का फल है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है उसको खाने में?" That was the extent the deviation had happened. So therefore, we have to understand the principles of devotion which we have received. It is a very rare privilege. यहाँ पे गुरु परंपरा देख रहे हैं, उसमें भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती, उनके पिताजी हैं भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he struggled for 8 years to find one bona fide copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we have all this easily available. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a book on the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the fact that we have Bhagavad Gita available, we have Bhagavatam available, we should not take it for granted. ठीक है, कभी भी पढ़ लेंगे, उसमें क्या है? अभी तो पास में ही तो है ना, कभी भी उठा के देख सकते हैं. But that day never comes. Somebody was telling of, a story. He didn't tell me it was actual story. I asked him. He said, in Jagannath Puri, there was one rickshawala. He would take all the pilgrims to Jagannath temple. And if somebody would ask him, आप गए हो? अरे हम तो कभी भी चले जाएंगे, इधर ही तो रहते हैं हम. Whole life passed by, he never went to Jagannath temple. So we may find it very extreme, but the same story is with us also. अब बगल में तो रखिए भगवद गीता, पढ़ लेंगे कभी. No. To read Bhagavad Gita, to understand Bhagavad Gita, it is a big discipline. It is not an ordinary thing which we have to just read. जब नींद नहीं आती ना प्रभु जी रात में, तब हम भगवद गीता उठाते हैं. ऐसी नींद आती है और उससे भी काम नहीं हुआ तो माला उठाओ. फिर तो श्योर शॉट है. So we may be laughing, but वो रोने की बात है वो. So that is our story. So therefore, yata chetasam is very important. Constantly endeavoring. That is the key for success in spiritual life or in any field. If you want to become successful, constant endeavor. Students cannot say, exam आ रहा है, कभी आ रहा है, अरे अभी तो 4 महीने बाकी है, एग्जाम के पहले पढ़ लेंगे, है ना? No, constantly endeavoring. Then only we can become successful. Yata chetasam is very important. And this purification happens by the process of practicing sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means the principles of chanting the names of the Lord, even if we have no taste for it. I think most of us here are now chanting regularly. Why? How many of have developed that? I love to chant, मतलब ऐसा रात में आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग कब सुबह होगी कि मैं चैंटिंग करूंगा. ऐसा हुआ है तो बहुत अच्छा, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स इट इज नॉट द केस. फॉर अस our practice of chanting is many times a burden. करना है, कर 16 माला बच्चे. और डरावना कब लगता है जब रात में 10 बज गया और 10 माला बची है. Still we do it. Why? Because we have heard, we have read. That is important. That is called as sadhana bhakti. When we don't have that taste for spiritual practices, still we do it. That will ultimately give us that taste. And we have heard in previous classes, there is happiness in the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of passion, happiness in the mode of ignorance. The happiness of mode of passion means, anyone knows?
Into love.
Passion, happiness in the mode of passion. What is the quality of that? It is very, very blissful in the beginning and painful in the end. मतलब रात में आपने ऐसा स्पाइसी वाला खाया, ऐसा तीखा तीखा, ऐसा आंख से आंसू आ रहे फिर भी खा रहे हैं, मजा आ रहा है. और फिर नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग संसार धावा नललीड लोका. इनको नहीं समझा वो बाद में बता दूंगा. That is happiness in the mode of passion. Happiness in the mode of ignorance, it is painful in the beginning, painful in the end also. Happiness in the goodness, it is painful in the beginning, It is like poison. क्यों करने के लिए बोलते हैं? बाकी इस्कॉन में ना, somebody was telling that प्रभु जी everything is good in ISKCON. ये दो चीजें निकाल दो ना आपके लाइफ से. Life will be fun in ISKCON. I guarantee your disciples, your followers will increase 100 times. क्या निकालना है? ये जो आप चैंटिंग करने के लिए बोलते हो और जो बैठ के आप 1-1 घंटा सुनाते हो, ये बच्चा क्या फिर ISKCON में? Because they are very painful. Because बहुत सारा करना पड़ता है. You go other places, no obligations. You come, you do whatever you want, and add this also. But unless we endeavor, vartate vidit atmanam, then the higher taste will not come. The more we fix our mind on Krishna, the more we'll experience that joy. Our problem is we are just busy trying to negate our problems. My mind is distracted. मेरे मन को शांत कैसे करेंगे? पहले कृष्ण के ऊपर ध्यान करें. नहीं, मन को पहले शांत कैसे करना है? अरे बाबा उसी के लिए बोल रहे हैं कृष्ण के ऊपर ध्यान करें. नहीं, ऐसा कैसे होगा? पहले मन को शांत करेंगे तब जाके कृष्ण का ध्यान होगा ना. Simple example. If there is an empty glass, and if somebody thinks, I want to empty air out of this glass, क्या करें? उल्टा करते हैं. होगा? क्या करेंगे? वैक्यूम पंप लगाते हैं उसमें. चलो होगा? It will stay for some time, any small hole. So what we have to do to remove air out of the glass? Fill it with water. Fill it with something. So if we are disturbed by our problems of life, if we are disturbed because of our uncontrolled mind, our negative impressions we are carrying from this life and the past life, don't be so much worried about this. Try to add Krishna. Try to add the names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the more we try to absorb our mind in serving the Lord, by remembering Him, by taking darshan of the Lord, the more we will be purified. And then Krishna says, Abhito. Abhito means in very near future. Please take out 4th chapter, 39th verse. Krishna speaks very similar words here. Very near future. Jaldi milega. Krishna is giving assurance again and again because Krishna knows, Kali Yuga people impatient. Kab milega bolo. Ab bhi chahiye. 4.39 Krishna says, we'll recite this. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. Translation please.
A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace.
Quickly. Achirena. Chira means बहुत समय लगेगा. Achirena. ज़्यादा समय नहीं लगेगा. Don't be worried. Now please take out 5th chapter, 6th verse. Krishna has spoken many times in Bhagavad Gita, बेटा कर आराम से मिल जाएगा जल्दी. पर नहीं कब मिलेगा वो बताओ. Have faith in the words. We'll recite this. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum mayo gataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena adhigacchati. Translation.
Merrily renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay.
Without a delay. So it is a guarantee. It is Krishna's words. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई तो बोल रहा है. No, it is Krishna speaking. Provided we practice it. You know, there are 6 qualities of devotional service. First quality is called as Klesh Agni. Klesh Agni means it destroys all our material distress. That is the first thing which anybody wants. Bhakti mein aake kya milega? The distress will be destroyed. That is the first delivery. Second quality of devotional service is it is Shubhada. It is all auspicious. It gives auspiciousness. Shubha da. ये शुभ देती है. जैसे यशोदा. यशोदा का मतलब क्या होता है? यश देने वाली. Shubhada, one who gives auspiciousness. So bhakti, the path of bhakti is all auspicious. नहीं तो अन्य शिव पंथा विशदा संसृता विहा वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति योगो यदो भवेत. Nahi ato anya Shiva. There is no more auspicious path than the path of bhakti. Third quality of devotion is it is sudurlabha. It is very rare. Don't be astonished. Somebody came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this person has left. He's not coming. He has stopped chanting. Prabhupada said, don't be surprised if somebody leaves. Be surprised if somebody stays. So this is not an easy process. It requires great spiritual credits to practice this. It is sudurlabha. You know why it is sudurlabha? One of the acharyas, Jiva Goswami, he tells 2 reasons. First is because Krishna doesn't give it so easily. You know why? कृष्ण देते नहीं है भक्ति इतनी जल्दी. बाकी सब कुछ दे देंगे. You want material things in this world, you will get it. You want mukti from this world, you will get it. Bhakti nahi denge. Can anyone guess why Krishna doesn't give devotion so easily? Shuddha bhakti. Yes, Krishna becomes controlled by his devotees. So if Krishna has to be controlled by somebody, Krishna will make sure he'll not exploit me. नहीं तो किसी को भी दे देंगे तो पापा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा नहीं. So that's why Krishna tests a devotee thoroughly. सच में इसको भक्ति चाहिए or he wants something else. That's why he doesn't give it. But the second reason is more important for us. He says, because we don't endeavor strongly enough. We are very, ठीक है कर लेंगे आराम से. No. If we are not endeavoring, we will not get it. So that is how bhakti sudurlabha. So first quality is kleshagni. Second quality is, anyone remembers? Shubhada. Third quality is sudurlabha. आगे का 3 बोलूं, more technical है, but anyways, just for the sake of completing it. The fourth quality is it is sandrananda visheshatma. The happiness which one experiences while practicing bhakti cannot be compared by anything in this entire universe. Fifth quality is moksha labhuta krit. The happiness of liberation is also insignificant. Mukti chahiye na logon ko sansar se, mukti chahiye. Mukti is nothing in front of bhakti. And the sixth quality is Shri Krishna Akarshini. It attracts Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes a very beautiful verse in this purport. We'll recite this verse. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 22nd chapter, 39th verse. Yat pad pankaj palash vilas bhaktya karmashayam grathitam udgrathayanti santah. Karmashayam grathitam udgrathayanti santah. मैं ही बोल देता हूँ. तद्वन्न रिक्तमतयो यतयोऽपि रुद्धा श्रोतो गणास्तमरणं भज वासुदेवम्. So this beautiful verse, it is described in this verse. Just try to worship. Okay, read the translation, please. अरे बाबा है ना?
5.2.
अच्छा वो ये नहीं पूछा हम कौन सी बुक पढ़ रहे हैं, नहीं तो पूरी रामायण खत्म हो गई, पूछेंगे राम कौन थे उसमें, पढ़ो मिला, हाँ हाँ, यस, आफ्टर दैट
Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, fruiting the deep-known desire for activity.
एक्सटेसी में वो पढ़ते पढ़ते. So an important word is used here is Pad Pankaj Vilas. What is the meaning of Vilas? Vilas means one who delights. That is one of the meaning of Vilas. So one who delights in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Another meaning of Vilas is the pastimes also. So here the meaning is Pad Pankaja Vilas, one who delights in connecting to the lotus feet of the Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. What it means to serve the lotus feet of the Lord? That means to follow the instructions given by the Lord. That is serving the lotus feet of the Lord. When we follow the instructions given in Bhagavad Gita, we are serving the lotus feet of the Lord. When we follow the instructions given by the great sages, we are serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So this verse says, when we start serving the lotus feet of the Lord, one gets such a wonderful bliss. You know, people in this world, they are after bliss. खुशी चाहिए जीवन में, सुख चाहिए, शांति चाहिए, और सुख शांति अपार्टमेंट्स हमेशा अंडर रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस ही रहते हैं, कभी मिलता नहीं है. And Krishna is giving again and again assurance in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, in various scriptures. Just come to me, just try to connect to me. There is one verse in the 5th chapter, which Krishna, 2nd chapter, Krishna says, Nasti buddhira yuktasya. I think 2.60? 2.66, I think, yes. Nikaliya, please. 2.66. Thank you. 266 hai? Nasti buddhira yuktasya. Yeah, we'll recite this. Nasti buddhira yuktasya. Nacha yuktasya bhavana. Nacha bhavayata shanti. Ashantasya kutah sukham. Translation, please.
One who is not connected with Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
If the mind is not peaceful, how can somebody be happy? And still the time we are not holding on to a thing which is permanent, will always be disturbed. There's only one thing which is constant in this world, that is change. The more things change, we have to catch hold of those things which don't change if we want to be peaceful in life. Nothing is constant in this world. The more we catch hold of the principles given in scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, will become peaceful, will become steady in our lives. That is the meaning of this verse. Bhaja Vasudevam. The last word is Bhaja Vasudevam. Nothing else. All the other ways of getting happiness in this world are temporary. They don't last long. Yehi samsparsha bhoga dukkha yona evate. 5.22 Krishna says this. The more you try to get things of the world, the pleasures of the world, they are pregnant with misery. So that's how it is so very important. You know, the path of bhakti is always blissful path. In fact, in previous times when Srila Prabhupada, he went to America and he started preaching Krishna consciousness. And devotees, they would do kirtan, sankirtan in the streets of New York and other places. And people would say, how are these people so happy? तो इतने खुश कैसे हैं ये लोग? Because for them it is like we are somehow coming out of our troublesome life and they are enjoying life. So path of bhakti is all wonderful path. Of course, we have to be serious. But serious doesn't mean exam is मुंह बना के grave रहना है अभी, हंसेंगे नहीं हम लोग. You have to be blissful. You have to be joyful. And the path of bhakti is automatically blissful. Susukham kartum avyayam. So therefore, this path of bhakti, path of spiritual life, the second line is very important. Karma shayam grathitam. When we practice spiritual principles, in India, people are concerned, मेरे कर्मों का क्या होगा, मैंने क्या कर्म किए होंगे, उससे मुक्ति कैसे होगी. Karmashayam grathitam udgrathyanti. The knot of our karmic activities. Udgrathyanti means they are uprooted. The deeply rooted our karmic reactions निकाल देते हैं भगवान. Udgrathyanti. This desire to enjoy things of the world, it is like a great illusion. One time a monkey, he saw a big bottle. It had a narrow neck and bada sa bottle aisa. And there was some chana. तो उसने हाथ तो डाल लिया अंदर और हाथ में ऐसा मुट्ठी में पकड़ा and अभी निकल नहीं रहा है. क्या करे? He's trying somehow, नहीं निकल रहा है. And then all the other monkeys, they came. There was a conference, निकल क्यों नहीं रहा है? गया तो हाथ, निकलना भी चाहिए ना. निकल क्यों नहीं रहा है? क्यों नहीं निकल रहा है? So now he has got hold of that. So कैसे निकलेगा? That's the problem with us. When people say, I don't know why I'm suffering in this world. We ourselves have caught this material problems. हम ही पकड़ के रखे हैं. It's just like somebody is catching hold of a tree and says, छोड़ दो मुझे, छोड़ दो. पकड़ा किसने है? So we have ourselves implicated in this cycle of problems. But when we practice spiritual life, karma shayam udgrathyanti, and the one more important word is santaha. How it will happen? When we come in association of devotees of the Lord. It doesn't happen automatically. All of us have experienced transformations in our life because some devotee came in our life. Some devotee invited us. एक भगवद गीता क्लास के लिए आइए ना. And it looked very safe. एक ही क्लास के लिए जाना है ना, चले जाएंगे एक ही क्लास के लिए. But एक क्लास भारी पड़ गया फिर. That's how Krishna enters the life of a devotee. धीरे से enters like a pin, enters like a needle, comes out like a plow. पूरा उथल पुथल हो जाता है. But that is our hope. Krishna never leaves his devotees. Of course, Krishna doesn't leave anyone. He's always working how to bring this living entity back to me, back to my abode. That is the power of association of devotees. One devotee was telling about how she became devotee. So she was air hostess in Mexico Airlines. And it's like Prabhupada's ka time ki baat hai. Prabhupada was traveling in that plane once from Mexico to somewhere he was going. And Prabhupada's servant, assistant, Harishwari Prabhu, he gave Prabhupada some kurmura. So Prabhupada ne thoda sa khaya and then he said, okay, you can take it. So this air hostess comes and suddenly she puts her hand in that bowl of kurmura and takes one. Puts in the mouth. It is not so usual for anybody, like kisi ka bhi kuch. And she said, what is this? This is so nice. So they said, this is a puffed rice. Can I get something for Swamiji? So he asked Prabhupada, she's asking if you like something. Prabhupada said, yes, if you can get hot milk. So she goes and brings hot milk for Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada just gets down the flight after landing. 10 years after this story, one person who was doing book distribution and Sankirtan in some village in Mexico. He knocks on the door, and a lady opens the door with kantimala, with tilak, and she invites him inside. And there is an altar of Gaur Nitai from nowhere, Mexico के city में, village में. So he was amazed. He asked, how did you become devotee? She said, 10 years back, I was on a flight when Srila Prabhupada was traveling, and I took the Mahaprasad of Srila Prabhupada unknowingly that time. And that was the power of just tasting Mahaprasad of devotee of the Lord. So that's why, when we come in touch with the great devotees of the Lord, any small thing can transform us. Santaha, the great devotees are very, very powerful. Not just great devotees are very powerful. We should not say, great devotees, na. Srila Prabhupada, he would tell, if you will know that who is the devotee sitting next to you, what is his position in the spiritual world, you will faint. We should not feel ये तो ठीक है, लोग चैंटिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, पता नहीं है तो अभी माला करना शुरू किए हैं, और ये तो चैंटिंग, अरे इसमें कैसे चैंटिंग करते हैं या सो जाते हैं. Please understand, whoever is coming to this path of spiritual life, they are rare souls. So we should learn to respect each devotee, because it is a rare privilege we are getting. Otherwise, if somebody is not taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, tadvannariktamatayo yatayo piruddha, even if somebody can try for many, many lives, it will not be possible to destroy the material desires and become peaceful. Because material desires, they create disturbance. The more we have in this world, the more desires it creates. And we have heard the story of 99 Club. Suna hai 99 Club ka story? Nahi suna? How many of you have heard this story of 99 Club? Oh, very few. One time there was a king and his minister. They were traveling, they were roaming around in the city, in their kingdom. And in one village, they find one farmer, very happy. He had not very good clothes on, small land, very happy. So the king asks minister, how is it that he's so happy? कुछ भी नहीं है इसके पास, छोटा सा लैंड है और फटे कपड़े पहने हैं, still he is so happy. So he says, minister says, king, he is not the member of 99 Club. What is this 99 Club? King, you have to give me 100 gold coins for this. ये तो महंगा क्वेश्चन है, इतना लगेगा सर. So he gave him 100 gold coins. And then this minister took out one gold coin and put that very costly looking red velvet bag of gold coins on the road from which this farmer would go back home. So as he is returning back home, he finds this bag, very costly looking. He opens it, gold coins. जीवन में gold coin देखा नहीं है. Immediately just puts it in his bag and brings home. He starts counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. दोबारा गिनता हूँ. 99 है. दोबारा एक बार और. 99 कैसे हो सकता है? It should be 100. 100 होगा तो कितना अच्छा लगेगा नहीं? I have 100 gold coins. He tells his wife, look, I have got this 99 gold coins. I want to make it 100. She says, देखा है क्या आपने? जीवन भर भी काम करोगे ना, ये 100 एक नहीं मिलेगा. I will earn. You don't underestimate. And you don't spend any of this, okay? So she says, okay, ठीक है. So after a few days, she tells, can you give me 2 gold coins और shopping करके आना है? There's nothing for you. जब तक 100 नहीं होगा ना, nobody should touch. And every day he was working from 9 to 5 He started working overtime. अभी 8 बजे तक काम कर रहा है, लेट आ रहा है वो, और करना है. And then one day wife became so upset. She took 3 gold coins, he did shopping and came back. He became so upset, started shouting at wife, beating children. 1 month passes by. After 1 month, king and the minister, they are again walking. And king sees all the happiness is gone. He is miserable. Minister, what happened to him? He said, sir, now he is member of 99 Club. What is this 99 Club? Can anyone tell me?
Don't enjoy what you have. You always run for more.
Was 99 gold coins he has, but he is running for the 100th one. जब तक ये नहीं मिलेगा ना, I cannot be happy in life. That is how the advertising industry, the modern media is doing with us. जब तक ये नहीं मिलेगा, I will not be happy in life. And they are doing it very nicely. And the entire world is running after that 100 gold coin. और जो नहीं भागता है ना, उसको बोलते पागल है क्या, बैठा है तो काम कर, यूजलेस. आपको बोटमैन वाला स्टोरी पता है ना? बोटमैन स्कॉलर वाला, वो जाके के बोलता है, स्कॉलर he is crossing the river and the boatman asks, the businessman comes, hey, what do you do? He said, I am a businessman, I have many factories. अच्छा, उसके बाद? And then he asks the boatman, what do you do? I am just a boatman, I just do something and I get some money. 50% of your life is waste only. क्या कर रहा है? Then he says, अच्छा, and उसके बाद क्या करेगा आप? So the boatman asks, I am planning to increase my business and then I'll hand over my business to my son. And then the scholar, the businessman asks the boatman, and what are your plans? मेरा क्या plan है? मेरा एक ही तो boat है. I'll give to my son. Yeah, your 75% life is waste. After that, the rain starts. It gets stormy. The boatman asks the businessman, do you know swimming? He said, no. 100% of your life is waste. That's how people are. Running after things of the world, not taking care of the basic necessities of life, not developing connection with the Supreme Lord, who will only go with us in the next life. So therefore, till the time we are not developing connection with the Lord, Shroto Ganastamaranam Bhajavasudevam, emptying the material desires is not possible. It is like somebody is standing on the seashore and he thinks, I'll dry the shore of the ocean, okay? Like, what are you thinking? Kitna bhi dry karo, the next wave will come. The waves of desires will keep on coming. We cannot stop the waves of desires, but what we can do is, we can fill our mind with Krishna. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti atvat tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakama kami. Krishna says in 2nd chapter 70th verse. So many rivers, they enter the ocean, but the ocean never overflows. Why? Why the ocean never overflows? Yes. Tons and tons of waters are entering the ocean every second. Still the ocean never overflows. Why?
It is cutted.
It is vast and it is deep. Till the time our hearts are shallow and looking for small pleasures of the world, any problem comes, disturbance. If our heart is like an ocean of happiness, an ocean of happiness can come only when we connect to the ocean of, the source of ocean of happiness. That is Krishna. So when we connect to the spiritual principles, practice spiritual principles, then we become peaceful. ऊपर थोड़ा सा disturbance होता है ना, just like the ocean also has waves on the surface. very stormy sometimes. You go deep in the ocean, very peaceful. So devotees' life also problems will come. थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे होगा. Sometimes financial, sometimes family, relatives. These things will go on. But the more a devotee turns inwards and understands whatever is happening in my life, it is happening by the will of the Lord. And Krishna has a better plan. Krishna's plans are better than my plans. So therefore, I'll just accept it. And you know what happens when we delight in Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada quotes a very wonderful verse in this purport, the second verse. Darshan dhyana sansparshair matsya kurma vihangama swanya patnyani pushnanti tathaham api padmaja. So translation.
By vision, by meditation, and by touch, only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja.
Okay. आपके चाचा आ गए क्या? So this is a very, very interesting verse. Here Lord is telling to Lakshmi Devi. He is giving examples of some living entities. Darshan, Sparsha, Darshan, Dhyana, Samsparsha. Some entities, they nourish their offsprings just by vision. Some nourish their offsprings by meditating on them. And some nourish their offsprings by touching them. So the science will never understand these principles. So the example of a animal which nourishes the offsprings by touching is birds. Birds, they sit on the eggs. By touch, the eggs are nourished. The example of tortoise is given. The tortoise nourishes its offsprings by meditating on them, by meditating on the eggs. And the fish nourishes the offsprings by just looking at the eggs. So Krishna says, just like different entities, they nourish their offsprings. We need not go into the details of aisa kaise ho sakta hai. Some things are beyond the scope of our understanding. But the main principle which is conveyed here is, Krishna is saying, I also nourish my devotees. How? By meditation. If we meditate on Krishna, Krishna also meditates on us. Krishna also cares for us. But he requires this. First, we should do our meditation. Think of Krishna, remember the Lord's name, then Krishna will 100% take care of us. That is very important. You know, when we are meditating on the Lord, for sure he is also meditating on us. He is also thinking of us. Just like a patient goes to a doctor. So doctor expects that patient will cooperate. If patient is not cooperating, then what can doctor do? So Krishna also expects that we meditate on him. We chant his name. The very, very simple process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's how the more we practice, the more we'll be able to come close to Krishna. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, and I'll end with this. The fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. The tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. The eggs of the tortoise are laid on the land, and the tortoise meditates on the eggs while in the water. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly. And then he'll be attaining this perfection of Brahma Nirvana. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions anybody has before we have illustrious speaker guest today? Shobit ji?
Yeah.
Shobit Mathur. He'll share his realizations and experience in the field of education, how it is so very important to give culture to children. Prabhuji will give more introduction to Dr. Shobhit Mathur. Yes, any questions? Yes, okay, Mike.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You talked about the highest state of self-realization is when you look for to connection to the Lord. Are there different levels of self-realization?
Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Yeah, these are the three states of absolute truth. So some people they connect to Brahman, some people they connect to Paramatma, some people they want to connect to Bhagavan. These are the various states of self-realization.
Okay, so they can also be termed as states of self-realization.
They're all yes, they are liberated souls. Those who are Brahman, they are also liberated,
Okay.
and those who are devotees, they go to Vaikuntha and Goloka, they are also liberated. But their levels are different. The personal liberation is the higher. That is the understanding. 14.26, 27. Brahmano hi pratishtha aham. Krishna says, I am the basis of Brahman. Yes. Any other questions? Anybody has?
In realizations also there are levels. I mean, in the end, like people will think that udhar bhi competition. So, I mean, the levels of realizations are also different. I mean, or is it something where we can just say that, of course, there is some difference also.
Competition nahi hai. There is unlimited space for everyone, but it depends on where we want to go. The different phases of there are liberation also. There are 5 types of mukti. There is impersonal liberation, merging in the Brahman. वो तो हमने सुना है बहुत बार. ब्रह्म में लीन होना वो बहुत कॉमन टर्म है. ब्रह्म लीन हो गए. That is merging in the light which comes from the body of the Lord. सालोक्य सारिष्टि सामिप्य सारूप्य एकत्वम अप्युत दीयमानम न गृह्णन्ति विनामत सेवनम जना. Krishna is telling, my devotees are not interested in any type of liberation if there is no seva. सेवा है तो जहां लेके जाना है चलेगा हमको. There is a liberation in which a devotee gets a chance to stay in the same planet as the Lord. He has the same features as the Lord. He has the same wealth as the Lord. He can live in close proximity with the Lord. But Krishna says, my devotees are not interested in any of this if there is no service. Vina mat sevanam. So that's how there are different ways in which people they want to connect to the Lord. But the devotees are interested in serving the Lord, wherever they may be. Nayatra Vaikuntha Katha Sudhapaga, na sadhavo Bhagavata Sadashraya, Nayatra Yagyesha Makha Mahotsava, Suresha Lokopi na Vaisha Sevyatam. The devotee is not interested in staying in any place, even if it is heaven. If there is no Krishna Katha going on, if there is no chance to associate with the devotees of the Lord, if there is no festival going on in glorification of the Lord, न स्वर्ग में भी नहीं जाना है. ये सब है तो जाएंगे, नहीं तो स्वर्ग भी नहीं जाएंगे. So that's the principle of devotee. That is the highest. Okay, yes. This is the last question. Sorry.
Brahman Nirvana that is mentioned here in this shloka.
Yeah.
Different from Brahman.
So the Brahman Nirvana for impersonalists, it is merging into Brahman. For a devotee, it is going to the place where Krishna stays. The words remain the same, but depending on who is practicing this process. If a impersonalist follows the Jnani, वो ब्रह्म में जाएगा. उसको भी ब्रह्म निर्वाण बोल सकते हैं. If a devotee is doing it, he will go to the place where Krishna lives. That is also Brahma Nirvana. You know, the words are the same. मुक्ति है ना, एक ही वर्ड है मुक्ति, बट मुक्ति के अलग अलग मीनिंग्स हैं. So Nirvana means one goes to the place where Krishna lives. Prabhupada writes in the purport, na? Another meaning of Brahma Nirvan, Prabhupada writes in the purport, he does not feel the pangs of material desires. This stage of life is called Brahma Nirvan. Prabhupada gives another meaning of the name Brahma Nirvan. Without getting disturbed by the problems of the world. That is also Nirvan. So that's how different words have different meanings in Sanskrit. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. It's my very good fortune to actually have Shobhit Mathur with us, and we can just have a loud applause for him. So he's the Dean of Rishihood University. There are two stalwarts here actually. Gaur Vilas Prabhu. I mean, Gaur Vilas Prabhu is so he's done his MBBS and he's then got into the place of connecting everybody to the Lord. And here there is Shobhit Mathur, who has done his engineering from IIT Mumbai. He's done his computers. After that, he actually went to the US and did his masters there, MS. From there, he went to the prestigious ISB Hyderabad, from where he's done his super specialization. From there, he got a very good job in Goldman Sachs, and he was actually going to be one of the stalwarts there. But he didn't take that and got into the process of seva, as Prabhuji rightly said right now, that seva is the essence of life. So from there, he really contributed a lot to Seva International. From there, he went into a lot of connectivity to other things where he always wanted to serve. So today, he has the fortune of getting as a dean of Rishihood University, and even we are fortunate to have us. And the university is so unique that it is based on the principles of dharma and completely connecting our Indian students to various attributes of our dharma at all. So I would like to invite Shobhit Mathur on the stage and get us, please give him a big applause so that he gives us some connect to his enlightenment of whatever he has gone through. Thank you.
It will be recorded also.
I don't want to take the seat, but yeah, okay. No, thank you, Anuj. Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. So yes, there's a good Mumbai connection. IIT Bombay. I was here between 2000 and 2004, computer science, and the aspirations that since my Mosi, she's here. My entire family had huge aspirations that this guy is going to do well. So I went to the US, did my masters, worked for Amazon. But about 15 years back, I came back to India, and the journey since then has been broadly what I would call one way to talk about it is seva, but it has been a lot of effort in rebuilding India in that sense, right? So that has been my passion. Now, I don't want to talk about many things because there's a particular context that you're all here, and I don't want to come and talk something irrelevant to that. But one thing I can tell you is higher education in India is in a big crisis overall. And I'm sure a lot of your kids are going into college. What you will realize is this period of 4 years between till then they were at home and in very comfortable parenting. And after that, they'll be in professional life. For me, the reason that I chose to intervene in this 4 years is it is perhaps the formative years of everybody's life, because they start becoming adults at that time. They start taking independent decisions. They are away from home mostly. So we, the ones who think about building a nation, contributing to dharma, have to focus on these 4 years of education. School education is very important, I agree. But I think a lot of independent decisions, friends, careers, everything is done in this 4 years. So I chose particularly to intervene at that time. So we have built a university called the Rishihood University. It's near Delhi. Now, one important thing that Anuj mentioned is how do we bring dharma into education? So in higher education, typically at this point, highly secularized, deracinated in general. I'm making a statement in general because it is seen that it is a time for professional education. All these things should be done either at home or should be done post-retirement. This is irrelevant to education. That's a general assumption of people. But anybody who has been successful in life, just before coming here, I have met Ajay Piramalji, which some of you would have heard of, right? One of the billionaires of Mumbai. His entire success he attributes to having some cultural grounding, right? So why have we thought that education should be disconnected from spirituality, religion, while that is in fact the reason for many people's success? So in higher education today, the challenge is there is no motivation to get educated actually, because we have reduced entire higher education to package. Kitna milega? Everybody is only asking, all this now IIT results will come, placement results you will see in Times of India, or 1 crore package. So everybody has reduced the purpose of education just to a single number, okay, while it was supposed to be much bigger than that. So for me, somebody coming into the classroom is only thinking at the end of 4 years I will get a package, and that is a complete disservice to education. So what we are trying at Rishihood, and it's a very interesting experiment, is no, you should not be ignoring all this. This is in fact a core part of education, right? Because everything else is now on your phone. Information is on the phone, right? But there is no inspiration in the classroom. So we are trying to change that. We are trying to blend. How do we bring in the best aspects of our Indian culture? How do we bring the best of the professional education together? This experiment in higher education has not been tried. We are now about 4 years old, and amazing outcomes. That is what everybody was asking for but was not expressing. Parents want that. In many ways, even our students want that. Definitely the future employers want that. If you are wanting to hire somebody, you would look both at their character as well as their professional competence. But they were not coming together. So this is a novel experiment that is being tried at Rishihood. Primarily, we have computer science, we have design, we have business, we have psychology, we have some programs, undergraduate programs, fully residential. Gaurang Prabhu is one of our board members. So there's very strong connection to a lot of spiritual leaders who are guiding the Rishihood University's formation, and a lot of things are happening there. But we are trying to prove to the entire university system in India that you can do this, and in fact this is the right way to do it, and this is going to be successful, and the initial results are very amazing. So that is what I would want to say. We are getting support from all different quarters, from everywhere that we go, that this was what finally higher education should have been, which we have lost. So a lot of, you can say it, a Gurukul model, which we used to call earlier, right? So kind of we are thinking Gurukul model is only being seen in schools nowadays, or they're trying to do something. But nobody even talks at the most critical phase of a young adult's life, that is university education. Nobody's trying to bring it there. In sum and substance, that is what we are trying to do. Yeah, that is it. I mean, if you have any thoughts, questions, you can ask me. So we are a fully residential campus. Very few private universities are fully residential. That again comes from that principle. About 300 hours of our first year, as soon as they come into college, irrespective of whatever you're studying, undergo something called the foundation program, the Rishihood Foundation program. The first course in Rishihood Foundation program is Self and Society, which is covering what was just being mentioned. Who are we and what is our purpose? Okay. Nobody in our education till our 12th grade has asked this question. No teacher has asked, who are you? What is your purpose? We are studying all different types of subjects. We're trying to ace them, but we don't even know why we are doing all this. The second course that we cover is called Understanding India, which gives a complete cultural background of India. We have to understand where we are. If we don't know why we are in the Maharashtra state, we are in Mumbai, who is around us, what is the Indian people, what is the history, we need to know this. Third course we cover is Global Grand Challenges. What are the big challenges that the world is facing? Now, why do we teach this? Your education is in the purpose of solving those problems. Your education is not in the purpose of earning a paycheck and kind of taking care of yourself, right? It has to solve a larger problem. Then there's other courses that we cover. So we do a very strong foundation of this residential campus. We have 3 spiritual coaches on campus, okay, full time. Their role is to mentor young people. Most universities don't invest on this. I think perhaps the only university in the country that is doing this, that we have full-time 3 spiritual coaches on campus. many such integrated programs, traveling. We spend, as soon as they come to campus, in about a month's time, we take them for a 4-day immersion to Haridwar, where they go and understand India by meeting the people. All those things happen. And along with very strongly industry integrated professional training. So what you would see in Rishihood graduates is highly competent in their disciplines, but very, very grounded. And that is possible, and that is what we're trying to prove, that this is what India needs. Thank you. Yeah. Any thoughts, comments, questions? Yeah. How to get admission? So just go to Rishihood University's website. Admissions are ongoing. But I can give you my details. Sorry. Okay. So admission process. So we look at your competitive exam scores. We have our own test, and then we have an interview process. So the interview process is more to check if a fit with Rishihood values happens. But yeah, some merit and some behavioral test. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Shobit is here with us for dinner, so if anybody wants to connect with him, can always do that. And thank you, Shobit. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the